Back in May of this year, Rockstar released a second trailer for GTA 6. In it, we got a deeper look at the characters, a more detailed overview of the locations, as well as an official, although postponed release date. For most players, the trailer confirmed their expectations of roaming around Vice City next year. However, there was also a substantial part of the community that noticed something out of the ordinary. Mountain ranges in the supposedly mountainless state, license plates with an unrecognizable state name, locations which are extremely similar to real-life places outside of the state of Florida. All of this hinting that alongside Leonida, another state will also be included into the GTA 6 actions. A few months ago, when the trailer released, there was a ton of general hype behind the release of the game, and most creators, in my opinion, just included this second state theory in their videos out of the initial hype. But now that the hype has at least somewhat slowed down, I thought it was the perfect time to rationally analyze the possibility of Georgia being introduced to the GTA universe. And whilst the title of the video says that this theory is guaranteed, we will also go over the community's concerns and other questionable parts of the theory to then in the end come to a logical and undeniable conclusion. So, to start off, I plan to divide the video into 3 parts. Firstly, going over all of the evidence that supports this theory. Secondly, all of the arguments that the community has against it. And lastly, the conclusion that takes into account everything that we mention in both parts. So, let's begin with the evidence. The first and probably most known piece of evidence supporting the supposed new state of Gloriana is the license plates shown in the trailer. Throughout the trailer clips, alongside Leonidan and by the way also Liberty State plates, we can see numerous vehicles and bars having license plates that are issued in a new state that we haven't really heard of before. The most obvious state for Gloriana to represent is Georgia, not only because of its similarly sounding name, but because Georgia is literally the closest state to the real-life state of Florida. Now, of course, this fact alone doesn't really confirm that it is Georgia that Gloriana is representing, but I promise that the next facts will. Secondly, alongside the trailer itself, Rockstar released some cool screenshots of the game on the Social Club website. On the pictures, Rockstar depicted many very unique and sort of more rural areas of the map: Port Gellhorn, Leonida Keys, Grass Rivers, and Mount Calaga National Park. Wait. I am no expert in the southern United States geography, but I do know that I have never seen any mountains whatsoever in any movies or videos created in Florida. In fact, the highest point of Florida is this random 105-meter high road that can barely be called a hill. So, how is it possible that there is an entire national park located in some sort of a mountain range area? It does yet again hint that Leonida was in fact not the only state shown to us in the trailer. And well, again, the closest possible state to Florida that has some fairly considerable mountain ranges is the state of Georgia. But this Georgian state theory would not be as popularized if it wasn't for one certain screenshot. A screenshot of a canyon that Rockstar themselves has described to be located inside the Mount Calaga National Park. This place is not some world-renowned tourist attraction, and if you are not from Georgia, it doesn't really say much, but for all the Georgians, it is one of the clearest representations of the Providence Canyon. Okay, so to quickly recap, so far we have discussed 3 pillars that this theory stands on: the license plates, Mount Calaga, and the Providence Canyon. Yet, despite this evidence, the community has just as many questions and concerns with Gloriana really being included in GTA 6. And while I myself am rather skeptical of these concerns, let's still try to understand their points of view. In my last video, where I talked about the US states that have been included into different GTA titles, I mentioned the fact that GTA is most likely going to include Gloriana because of the numerous license plates. However, what many viewers of mine brought out was that it is extremely common to see Georgian state plates inside Florida, especially during the summer when people are going on vacations. Therefore, including Gloriana license plates would presumably be just a little detail that Rockstar added to make Vice City more realistic, and not some sort of a clear evidence that Rockstar wants to physically add the state onto the map. Furthermore, as I mentioned before, Gloriana license plates are not the only foreign state plates shown in the trailer. There are also a few cars with Liberty state plates shown to us throughout the trailer, and therefore, according to this logic, if Gloriana will be included to the map, so should Liberty City. Now, to answer the question if Liberty City will be a place we can freely visit on the map, for most of us it is going to be an easy no. Although we can all dream of Liberty City also being included to GTA 6, then in all reality it is not going to happen, at least not from the game's initial release that is. Liberty City is such a huge place that it would take just as much time to create it, if not more, than the entire Leonida state, and I don't think Rockstar just has the capabilities for it. At most, I think it is possible that Liberty City will be a place we kind of need to briefly visit during some missions with Lucia, as she is confirmed to have grown up in the city. Similarly to how we had to visit a very small part of Liberty City in GTA San Andreas, or how we briefly visited North Yankton in GTA 5. Or the second possibility I myself could believe is that Liberty City will be a map expansion later on in the game, as during the very first GTA 6 leaks in 2018, it came out Rockstar is trying to create an evolving map. Such an evolving map expansion wouldn't be something unthinkable, as we have already gotten large expansions to GTA Online, Cayo Perico being the best example of it. Anyway, coming back to the state of Gloriana, other than the license plate saga, there are also some players that have direct concerns with the supposed Gloriana state locations in the game. When people first saw Mount Calaga in the trailer, it mostly resembled the real Table Rock Mountain, which is located in North Carolina. This makes it all a lot more complicated. Not only would in this case the map include the entire state of Leonida and Gloriana, but also the entire state of South Carolina and at least a major part of North Carolina. A theory that for me is way too far of a reach. So what to conclude from all of this information? Well, I have a few ideas. Although I understand that in real life there might be many vehicles with Georgian license plates driving around Florida, then I still firmly believe that putting these plates to the trailer wasn't accidental by Rockstar. Knowing Rockstar, even the smallest of details on every new bit of information is always very thoroughly thought through and supposed to give us some sort of new info. And regarding the Liberty state plates in the trailer, for me it doesn't really change the fact that Gloriana plates were put there on purpose. Quite the opposite. Knowing that Liberty City also has clear connections with one of the main protagonists makes it even more obvious that Gloriana also must have some similar connections. But you might ask me that what about the Mount Calaga situation? Well, my own personal stance on this is quite simple. While there were people on the internet who were quick to claim that it was based off of a mountain located in North Carolina, then I wouldn't jump to conclusions as easily as the rest. Although I haven't ever been to the southern states of the US, and yes, on the pictures these mountains share somewhat similar features, then this isn't enough to absolutely confirm that these really are the same exact mountains. As a Reddit user by the name of Ready for a Shreddy pointed out, the mountains on the pictures resemble a stereotypical Blue Ridge mountain ranges mountain. And for anyone who isn't familiar with the geography of the US, The Blue Ridge Mountains are a mountain range that starts from Pennsylvania in the north and goes through basically every single East Coast state, including the state of Georgia. So Mount Galaga might very well just be a stereotypical mountain in the state of Gloriana, furthermore confirmed by the fact that the canyon in the game, which is basically undoubtedly created after the Providence Canyon in real life, is located in the same Mount Galaga National Park. And at the end of the day, even if Mount Galaga really was created after the Table Rock Mountain in North Carolina, then it doesn't eliminate Georgia from also being included, as there can very well just be certain parts of the states included, not the whole state with its big urban areas, because as far as we are aware, we have no evidence of, for example, Atlanta or other big metropolitan areas of Georgia being included to the game. So, to basically give a clear and unambiguous answer, Gloriana is 99% likely to also be included in GTA 6. Of course, this doesn't mean that there will be a complete one-of-one state included to the map with all major metropolitan areas like Atlanta or Columbus also making an appearance. It means that there will be certain rural areas and national parks of the Georgian state included. My own personal belief why Rockstar has done that is because mountains make the map look a lot bigger than it actually is, like in GTA 5 where half of the map is actually covered with mountains that don't have a lot of stuff going for them. And as Leonida couldn't logically have mountains itself, it was apparent that a neighboring state was needed to be included. But what do you guys think? Do you have anything to add yourself that either supports or perhaps absolutely counters my own conclusion about this topic? Definitely let us know in the comments down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.